to your workspace. And if you have not had the opportunity of joining one of our recent webinars, I do want to let you know that at ShareCare, we've elevated our webinar experience to include expert video content and interactive activities, and of course, group discussion. So you will notice me playing and pausing the presentation as we watch various video snippets and engage in conversation together. And I do welcome any and all questions, comments, and experiences that you feel comfortable sharing throughout. So since you are all on mute, please feel free to type in the chat and I'll read that out loud. So let me start the video. And as I mentioned, you'll see the agenda screen here, and we have several objectives for today's workshop. And first, we're going to talk about what is a blue zone, and then we'll discuss how to set up a healthy home, how to bring nature in, how to create a blue zone kitchen. We're then going to learn what the dirtiest places or things in your home are. And then we'll go through some key takeaways from today's workshop. So let's go ahead and get started and learn about what a blue zone is. So blue zones, which you may have heard about before, blue zones are areas of the world where people live exceptionally long lives. And studies have found that genetics only play a 20 to 30% role in longevity, which I think is really empowering because it shows how much control over our lifestyle and longevity we do have with the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis. And the people in the blue zones typically live beyond the age of 80 due to lifestyle. So that's their physical activity, low stress, having meaningful, rich social connections, and eating a local whole foods diet. And they typically have a lower disease incidence. So now let's learn how to set up a healthy home in the blue zones way. And we're going to hear from Erica Contreras, and she's with the Blue Zone Project. And the Blue Zone Project it's a community well-being improvement initiative that's designed to change the way that people experience the world around them. So because healthier environments naturally push people towards healthier choices, the Blue Zones Project focuses on influencing what they call the life radius. And that's the area kind of closest to your home where you spend about 90% of your lives. So the Blue Zone Project's best practices uses people, places, and policy as levers to transform those surroundings. There's, again, your immediate surroundings where you're living most of your day-to-day lives that affect the choices that you're making on a day-to-day basis. And their communities have populations with just a greater overall well-being, improved health outcomes, reduced costs, and increased civic pride, and all of which support a healthy economic development. And you might have heard just the original. So now, again, with the Blue Zones projects, there's a bunch of different areas that they're kind of making a Blue Zones regions. But the original Blue Zones, if you're curious, are Sardinia, Italy, Okinawa, Japan, Icaria, Greece, Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica, and Loma Linda, California. And I might have mispronounced one or a few of those, but so if you are interested in doing more and you're just interested in blue zones, I find it very fascinating. So now we're gonna move on and learn about creating the healthy home. How to set up everything.
So the first thing that I do when I wake up in the morning is I come into my living room and I do some journaling or meditation. It really helps me start the day calmly before things get pretty hectic around here. You'll also notice that I'm sitting on the ground. I grew up in Japan where that's really common, and people think that that's one of the reasons why people there live longer, more agile lives, because they're constantly getting up and down off the ground, which is a great form of exercise. So we just have one television in the living room and it's not visible from the dining area, and that's very intentional. We've all been there when we've cooked a delicious meal, sat down on the couch, started watching TV, and ate way too much. So we try to avoid that by just sitting at the dining table for all of our meals. Over here, it might look a little bit cluttered to some, but I love having all of my activity gear in one place right next to the front door. It's a great reminder for me to get outside every day and move my body naturally, and it's hard to make excuses when you see it all the time when you're sitting on the couch. This is our dining area. We share meals with friends and family, play games together, and during the day, I also use it as a workstation. This is our outdoor patio. I love using it to do yoga in the morning or to enjoy a meal during sunset. We live in the desert, so there aren't a lot of plants to take care of, but there's still plenty of work to be done to clear weeds and water our cacti, which I like doing in the early morning or evening with my husband or mom to get some good vitamin D. In all the Blue Zones areas, gardening and working outside is really common. It's a great source of exercise, it helps reduce stress, and if you live in the right climate, you can eat right out of your own garden. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to live in one of the Blue Zones areas, the Nicoya Peninsula of Costa Rica. There you find hammocks everywhere, and ever since then, this hammock has been one of my favorite places to downshift. Hopefully this gives you some ideas that you can start implementing in your own home. For these tips and more, check out our Blue Zones home checklist.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little video snippet. And just to recap, we heard from Erica about how to set up a healthy home, the Blue Zones way. And she started in her destination room, so where she's able to create a tranquil space for herself and uses that room to meditate or journal as a part of her morning routine to really just center herself for the day. And we also found her sitting on the ground in this segment. And in 2008, Blue Zones research found that in the region of Okinawa, Japan, people sit and get up from the floor dozens or hundreds of times per day. And this exercises their legs, back, and core muscles in a really natural way as they get up and down all day long. And many people think that's a main contributor of them living longer, more agile lives. And it's really focusing on functional movements. And sitting on the floor also improves your posture and increases your overall strength, flexibility, and mobility. And another tip that Erica shared was that she only has one television in her home, and it's not visible from the dining room table where they eat their meals. So it limits distractions and it allows them to have quality time just being present with each other. And it also allows them, from a physical and nutrition standpoint, it allows them to not eat too much too quickly. And this space is set up to allow for more mindfulness. And she keeps her sports equipment or activity equipment visible as a nice reminder to stay active and actually use it. And she mentioned that it was hard to make excuses when you're passing by it all day. And it's just, again, extremely visible and accessible. You also want to create a healthy home. You want to create exercise space. Like she had her patio where she was doing her yoga. That was a beautiful scene. I wish I had that view in my home. But having a designated exercise space just makes you more inclined to implement this into your daily routine. And while we're talking about exercise, I'll also just share like what general recommendations for adult Americans are. And it's really just being like making sure that you get at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity a week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity aerobic activity a week. And so aerobic activity is anything that promotes the circulation of oxygen, So, walking, and walking has the highest adherence rates out of any other physical activity. So if you're not doing anything at all now, that is a really great place to start. Um, and when we talk about the intensities, for moderate intensity, it's that you can comfortably talk to the person next to you, but you can't sing a tune of a song. And then vigorous intensity, you can tell, and this is the talk test, is that you can't say more than a few words without taking a deep breath. So like if you were running. So yeah, what might be moderate to you might be vigorous to somebody else, and vice versa. And additional health benefits are gained by, the more physical activity or exercise you're getting. It's also recommended that you do muscle strengthening activities of moderate or greater intensity too, that just involve your major muscle groups, focusing on or being able to do that 2 or more days a week. So just putting that in there to let you know what your recommendations are, and just to be able to, since physical activity is one of the, lifestyle factors that really affects your longevity and wellness and overall health and well-being. Erica also talked about growing and maintaining your own garden, and how this is a really common thing in the blue zones. And it's again great for physical activity, it's nutritious. And she also mentioned how you might even be able to eat out of your own garden depending on where you live. You also want to make sure, and when you're creating your healthy home, you want to make sure that you do have a space to downshift. So essentially just being able to wind down and recharge like she does in her hammock. So as an example, I have a space on my couch, and I have a big comfy chair that I retreat to with my weighted blanket, where I like to get cozy and drink my coffee or tea or hot chocolate and read my book or watch TV. And that's kind of like my safe haven, my like comfy, cozy space where I feel safe and, use that to unwind. I'll just pause real quick if anybody wants to share where that space is for them in their house. Or home. Couch. Oh, we got another couch. I have a massage room, and that's where I go when needed. Ooh, I love that. The gym. I have a couch on my patio, chair in a courtyard. I'm trying to create one. I love that. And so that's also, as I'm talking, I would love for you to be able to leave here today and be able to set one small goal in creating a healthy, happier home for yourself. So maybe, and again, as I go through suggestions, maybe it's that and we'll talk about plants next. Maybe it's that you put a plant in a room in your home, or you create a destination room, or, you put your TV out of your kitchen, whatever it is. So I want you to kind of have the wheels turning and be able to think about what you can do to create a healthier, happy home, and be able to set a specific, reasonable, attainable goal for yourself. Patio surrounded by plants and flowers, corner meditation space by my bedroom. Love that. Oversized chair and loft, patio table in backyard with view of water feature. Ooh. Someone said, I no longer have a cozy space in my house. So maybe that's something that we work on, and you set a goal to kind of figure out how you can make that space. And again, it doesn't need to be anything fancy. I love all of your suggestions that you've shared. And like I said, mine's just on my couch, and I got a weighted blanket, and then I, get warm tea to make myself feel cozy. My living room area is super peaceful. I have a wax warmer going and a ball light pink, my favorite color. Yes, and that's like a great example of how you're kind of creating your own. Whatever, different things soothe different people. So, what naturally calms you. Like I have a salt lamp, and I like candles and incense. And is there anything like that we can do with our pets? My dogs and cats are really important to me. Are you meaning like kind of creating a Zen space for them? And again, anyone else, feel free to jump in if you want to respond to that. Sitting on the floor, is a mat or cushion recommended? I think it's definitely, you do want to make it comfortable for yourself. And I think however you can be able to sit tall with a long spine. So you also don't, so that it is good for your posture, or be able to lean against something. I think like everyone kind of has different body needs and physiological things going on. So it's however you can kind of prop yourself to be able to sit tall and be also relaxed. Essential oils. Nancy Tissue SBCUSD is signing in. Oh, sorry, I just got a message. Okay, yes, including them in my spaces. My cat loved to sit in my yoga mat while I'm practicing. I love that. I sit on my couch with my dog and cat. Yeah, I think you can include your pets, you know, in that space and be able to give them love while you're also in that. Okay, great. Well, thank you for that. I did just want to, you know, see your thoughts on that, and just making sure that you all had a place to downshift in your home. And if you don't, you know, start thinking about how you can create that. So hopefully you did pick up a few tips and tricks to create a healthy home. If you do want to learn more about the Blue Zones Project, you can visit thebluezonesproject.com. So here on the screen, you'll see a list of things that you can ask yourself if you either have these things at home or if you practice any of these things. And feel free to take a screenshot of this list to revisit in your own time, or to have a checklist to be able to make goals, like I said, to make your home a healthier, happier space. So having a destination room, sitting on the floor, maybe, you know, only one TV in your home, or again, making sure that you have spaces, like again, your, you know, maybe the table that you eat at is not in front of the TV, athletic equipment visible, designated work area. I will say I work from home and live alone. And so it has been an adjustment post-COVID working from home. And I used to go on site and travel around the state and give health education seminars. So it was definitely, so I was waiting till we went back on site. And so I was sitting at my table, and I just live in a 1-bedroom condo. So I kind of was spending all of my time in this one area and at my table, and I would eat my meals there, but then also work there. And I then realized, you know, we're not, because I kept waiting to be told that we were going to go back on site. And so that never happened. So I went to IKEA and I got a desk, and it has completely changed my work from home situation. And I love my desk, and I am able to then, it's like my designated workspace. And then once I walk away, there's just, it really has enhanced my well-being and reduced my stress. And it kind of was just getting a cluttered space, and your environmental well-being and clutter definitely matter. So that is something, if you don't have a designated workspace and you do work from home, or have a hybrid schedule, I definitely would recommend that. And that was something specifically that I did to kind of create a healthier, happier home for myself. And also she talked about growing and maintaining indoor, outdoor fruits, vegetables, or herb gardens. And like we talked about, the place to downshift. So let's move on and learn how to bring nature in your home. And there's going to be words on the screen with background music, but no talking. And I will recap afterwards. And I just saw a comment and someone was asking about the destination space that we were talking about. And I think when she originally said, how she starts her mornings, it's really just kind of like a tranquil space that you're kind of, retreating to and being able to just create a peaceful haven when can you ground yourself and be mindful and not just a space that you can kind of go away from, or just that kind of brings you calm and peace. And where she was saying she was meditating or journaling and relaxing. So we just learned about the humidity loving plants that will thrive in your bathroom. And the bathroom is actually a great place for certain house plants. And hanging plants are also great in the bathroom where your counter space might be limited. And since house plants are mostly tropical, they do love the humidity. So we just read 10 suggestions of plants that you can pick that you can put in your bathroom if you would like. And I will admit that I hadn't thought of having plants in my bathroom until this video. And the plants that were recommended were ferns, gardenias, shake plants, spider plants, collar palms, prayer plants, nerve plants, monstera, orchid, lipstick plants. And we have some questions on the screen now. I would love to hear from you all. Do you currently have plants inside your home, and where are they located? And how much natural light is in your home? These can also just be rhetorical questions to ask. And if you're thinking about getting a plant, or maybe you want another plant if you already have a plant, and just things to think about, because some plants need more light, some, they have different needs. So if anybody wants to share. And does taking care of plants provide a sense of calm? Anyone who is a plant mom or dad and have plants in their home, do you, what's your experience around that? And for the last one, when you're around nature, how do you feel emotionally? And I know personally, and there's a lot of proven benefits to increasing your well-being and reducing your stress of being in nature. I'm getting a lot of the fake ones last longer than me. I actually do have some fake ones. So what are your favorite cat safe plants? That's a good question. And I don't know, I would have to look into that and get back to you. If anybody has cats and also plants and you want to please share with our friend, that would be appreciated. On the kitchen table, not a light in my home. It's also something I've been particularly navigating. I live, like I said, in a one-bedroom condo, and I have a balcony, but there's no light that comes onto my balcony. So it's been something that I've been looking into, a structure that has lights and everything inside of it that I can put inside. Kitchen, yes, lots of plants in my office space, lots of natural light in our home. Beautiful. I love that. Not so much natural light. I struggle with keeping mine alive. Yes, I have some succulents because they are easier to care for. I know that there is an app. My friend was talking about it. It might be that you can, depending on what your plan is, that needs different water and different light. I think it's called Planta, but I know things like that exist if it is something that you're looking into. Living room, in my yoga room, and one bedroom. On my front porch, I have a lot. I need to get some new indoor plants. It's a little dark in my home. Plants in my living room. Our cats like to nibble on greens and flowers, so I try to curb having them, but would welcome them. Being around my plants makes me feel calm. I love seeing stuff grow, but I don't have a green thumb. I agree. I do want, that is something that either in my next phase of life, I definitely would love to have a garden and more plants. Hanging in my workspace in the living room by the window. My house is very minimal light. Well, sorry if I didn't get to your comment, but someone said catnip, avoid ivy. Low light plants, snake plants, Dracaenas, and both are easy growers. All right, great comments. Thank you. Sorry if I missed it, just in the interest of time. Someone said ferns. Funny because my mom's name is Fern. Awesome. Grow lights are a big help with low light conditions. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's definitely something that I would need in my place. Lots of good advice. I think someone said you can get grow bulbs and put them in a regular floor lamp. Thank you. So insightful. Well, great comments and discussion. Thank you for sharing your experiences and insights. So let's move on and learn from Erica again about creating a Blue Zone kitchen.
Today I'm going to give you some tips for how you can make your kitchen a Blue Zones kitchen so that healthy choices are easier. The first thing I want to show you is my fruit bowl. I love the splash of color that it adds to my kitchen. It's the first thing that I see when I walk into it. So whenever I'm hungry, it's easy for me to just grab a piece of fruit instead of something a little bit less healthy. Here I've got lots of healthy snacks here individually packaged into Ziploc bags, so it's easy for me to just grab them and take them on the go. I've got almonds, roasted chickpeas, some dried mango, some dried fruit, and popcorn. Those are some of my favorites. I'm constantly snacking throughout the day being pregnant, so I love having these at hand. On my middle shelf, I've got beans. Beans are a longevity superfood packed full of protein for a plant-based diet. On the very top shelf is where I keep my junk food, a little bit less healthy snacks. I keep them there so that they're out of eye level, and sometimes I even forget that they're there, so I don't eat them very often, which is great. Over here, I've got my plates. They're a little bit smaller than the average dinner plate, so a great tip is to have plates that are 10 inches or less. So by having smaller plates, you're less likely to overeat. And that's a longevity tip from Okinawa, Japan. I'm really proud of how colorful my fridge is. I keep my top 2 shelves loaded up with fresh fruits and vegetables, so it's easy for me to grab them and put them into any kind of meal. And then on the bottom, I've got lots of leftovers, so that when you're in a hurry, you can just grab those and heat them up instead of grabbing something a little bit less healthy while you're on the go. I hope you enjoyed these tips and can incorporate some of them into your kitchen. If you want to see a full list of them, check out the Blue Zones kitchen checklist.
Okay, so creating a Blue Zone kitchen will allow healthy choices to be made easier. And Erica showed us her fruit bowl on the countertop that's out in the open. It's easily accessible if she wants a snack and is hungry. She also packs healthy snacks in Ziploc bags to have them readily available. So I think that's a really great idea for when you're on the go and they're already portioned out. And this will lessen the likelihood of you binging too much popcorn, chips, nuts, or whatever it is that you're eating. And some ideas of healthier snacks that she mentioned were some of her favorites were almonds, roasted chickpeas, dried mango or other dried fruit, and popcorn. She also had beans on the middle shelf of her pantry, and beans are the cornerstone of longevity diets around the world. And in 2008, researchers found that centenarians in the Blue Zone regions have eaten at least a half a cup of beans every day for most of their lives. And then lastly, she kept her junk food on the very top shelf that is harder to reach. So it's like an out of sight, out of mind, and not as easily accessible or at eye level. You also want to opt for smaller dinner plates, and she recommended using 10 inches or less. Our plates have gotten larger and larger over the last 40 years, and this might be something that you've noticed when you've gone out to restaurants. So if you do buy smaller plates, you'll be able to make it, you'll be able to kind of make it easier to not overeat until you're uncomfortably full, which many of us do, and especially when we're going out to eat. Yeah, you're still able to clean your plate and feel visually satisfied, but not, again, uncomfortably full. And I think that's been a helpful tip for me. I know many of us had to grow up being in the clean plate club. And so that is something that I constantly, have struggled with or worked on over the years. Like whatever is put in front of me and however much, I will eat all of it. And also listening to your body. It takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to catch up with your brain and telling yourself that you're full. So that's why if you eat too quickly or you're distracted while you're eating, it does take that 20 minutes to really take into effect. Also, she showed her refrigerator and she used the top shelves for fruits and vegetables. Again, eye level and accessible. It's also a very colorful refrigerator. And that's another reminder when you're making your plate of food to make it the rainbow, make a colorful plate full of nutrients, and also cook extra for leftovers. I would recommend cooking once to eat at least 2 or 3 times. And especially if you don't have time to actually meal prep for the week, but still try to make a little extra so that, again, if you're busy, instead of just kind of going, okay, I don't feel like cooking and I'm just going to order pizza, you'll be able to have those leftovers available. So I hope you can implement these tips into your kitchen to improve your health and longevity. I'll pause if anybody has any questions, comments, or feedback so far, or anything they want to share that hasn't been discussed for a healthy kitchen or home. Someone said they can't hear when she speaks. Did everyone else hear? And if you do miss something, I do recap the video. So I covered what she went over.
Yes, we can hear you, and I haven't heard of any other issues from anyone else, so we should be good to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So great ideas for snacks. And again, if anyone wants to type in their favorite healthy snacks, please feel free to share. I grow veggies and it's healthy and easy. That's great feedback. Stop eating when you're hungry. When that hungry feeling dissipates, that way you won't overeat and your brain will have time to catch up with your stomach. Absolutely. Black and blueberries, snow peas, nuts, and low sugar protein bars. That mind trick doesn't work for me. I'll eat fruit, but still crave the chips. That's where you might need a mix of sweet, salty. Do you have tips or advice to help get rid of summer pests, fruit flies, mosquitoes, grain flies in a non-toxic method? I do not have a garden. I am not a garden expert. Again, anyone else who does currently grow things, if you want to share, that is also something that I would need to look into. I do not have any expert tips, but again, if anyone else does, please feel free to share and I will pass it along. When we run out of junk food like chips, I try to wait until the next week's grocery run before buying. I think that's a really great idea. Pests indoors, not in the garden. Excuse me. And I think that's really great too. I go grocery shopping once a week. I pick one day. So it's Sunday for me. And then I wash, chop up my vegetables and fruits, just so it's convenient for the rest of the week. And even if you're not meal prepping, it just kind of helps, again, some sort of preparation. And then when I go to the grocery store once a week, I give myself 1 or 2 treats. And if I eat that all for the week, that's it for the week. And that does seem to work for me. Someone said, I heard vanilla extract and water repel mosquitoes. Someone else heard that apple cider vinegar is good for indoor pests like fruit flies. I have actually heard about the apple cider vinegar. Fruit flies put in a small bowl. Thank you so much. So Vicks, Vicks rub helps deter mosquitoes. I heard cinnamon lemongrass, planting citronella. Good tips. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate all of that. So again, the tips for the healthy kitchen: leaving fruit on the countertop, packing healthy snacks into Ziploc bags, keeping your junk food out of eye level. I always say, I have a sweet tooth And I do not bring anything into my home unless it's a premeditated binge, like I know I'm going to eat it all, or they're pre-portioned packages. But I know there are certain things like cookies that I cannot control myself, so I do not bring them into my home. And again, using dinner plates, smaller dinner plates, less than 10 inches, and cooking extra food for the leftovers. So we're going to have a discussion, and I want you guys to guess. So if you don't mind typing in the chat, what do you think are the dirtiest places in your home? So which room do you think is the dirtiest and why? And what specific object in your home do you think is the dirtiest and why? Let me know your thoughts. I'll give you a moment. Kitchen, sponge harbors germs. Bathroom and kitchen, garbage, closets you never open, windowsills, bathrooms, wherever the dog beds are, bathrooms, germs, hallways, living room, doorknobs, sponge. You guys, these are good guesses. Bathroom, bathroom, bathroom. Lots of bathroom. And again, sorry if I miss it. I'm just reading the ones that I see off and it's moving quickly. Yoga mats, garbage cans, shoes, refrigerator interior, boom, cell phone. Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for guessing. TV remote. It actually doesn't mention that, but that's one thing that I thought about. But good guess. All right, cool. Well, let's find out. And again, there's no words, but, or sorry, there's no words spoken, but words on the screen. And it's not your toilet, but again, good guess for those of you who said bathroom. There's some of the germiest places in your home. You guys got it. Who said your kitchen sponge? All right, so I'll recap if for whatever reason you missed the video. But we just heard, and great guesses. A lot of you guys got it. So we just watched that video of the 5 of the dirtiest places in your home. And again, not your toilet, which I think that was my original thought too. But kitchen sponge, number 1. This is what we clean our dishes and our countertops with, and it just harbors so much bacteria, exactly what one of our friends said. One study found that many kitchen sponges had bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli and fecal matter, poop. So to clean your sponges, our recommendation was to put them in the microwave for 2 minutes a day and make sure that you replace them every 2 weeks. Also, your kitchen sinks. Your sink is an ideal spot for bacteria to grow. Plus, the sponge tends to hang out there, and we all know how filthy those are from our last video. So to clean your sink, you want to use disinfectant once or twice a week. Also, as some of you suggested or guessed, handles, doorknobs, and light switches. So these are things that are easy to forget, but they're still gross, and they're extremely high touch surfaces that have so many germs that often go uncleaned. Just take a moment and think about when last time you cleaned those were. So to clean them, you want to use disinfecting wipes, wipe them down, try to do it at least once a week. And I also make sure to do this often with my phone, as somebody mentioned, and remote controls. Your toothbrush and toothpaste holder. Both of those are really dirty. Your toothbrush holder, you want to wash that with soapy water, finish it with a disinfecting wipe once or twice a week. And also make sure to replace your toothbrush every 3 to 4 months if you're not doing that. And then lastly, your coffee maker. So your coffee reservoir most likely has moldy coffee grounds in it. So you want to make sure it said, give it a nice bath and wash it once a month at least with steady hot water. Cleaning obviously isn't always fun, but it is extremely necessary to keep you and your family healthy and to avoid germs and getting sick. So for our discussion questions on the screen, were you right? Were you wrong? Is any of that surprising to you? Do you want to share if anything didn't surprise you? Post-pandemic, it's really important to wipe high-touch surfaces if you and your family have functioning immune systems. Is it still important? I think it is important. I think COVID taught us a lot of things that we should have been doing that we weren't currently doing, just in terms of hygiene and cleanliness, safety. Keurig coffee makers get moldy naturally. And that's a really great reminder. I buy sponges in bulk at Sam's Club. I'm surprised they didn't recommend keeping your toothbrush in a cabinet so it isn't exposed to germs that become airborne when the toilet is flushed. I did read something that said that fecal matter and whatever's flushed from your toilet goes up like 6 feet. Sponge Daddy Mommy also wear, sorry, I'm getting more comments, so it's moving. Keurig has cleaning pods for cleaning your coffee pot monthly. I also run vinegar through it. I do that as well. White vinegar. Sponge Daddy Mommy also wear out timely, so you know when to replace them. Coffee maker surprised me. I buy sponges in bulk at Sam's Club. That's smart. The sponges are cute. Cutting board is hot water. Vinegar can kill it keeps moving. Can kill bacteria on your sponge. I think just like it's being soaked in. So I think that's why it was just, again, I think we all probably need to be replacing them more often than most of us do. I actually the microwave tip was new to me. And someone said, cover toothbrushes with mini travel covers. Close the toilets when you're flushing to avoid splashing stuff up to the ceiling. Yes, those are all great suggestions. So thank you so much. I'm just gonna finish up. Sorry, lots of good discussion. So some takeaways from today. And sorry, I went a couple minutes over. I just got lots of great suggestions. So having separate areas in your home where you work, eat, exercise, and relax are really vital to creating a healthy, happy home to enhance your well-being. And the bathroom is a great place for plants to flourish, which I'm sure a lot of us didn't really consider. A healthy kitchen can still have treats in it. It doesn't mean that you can't eat your favorite snacks, but just be sure to keep them out of sight and the healthy stuff easily accessible and eye level. And then the sponges, handles, kitchen sink, and cell phones, high touch things, they're the dirtiest in your home. So make sure that you change out your sponges every 2 weeks and clean your sink and handles and other high touch items weekly. So I'll pause if anyone has any questions, comments, feedback. Thank you so much for joining today. I'll pull the slides back up. so you know your Health Net resources that you have available to you. I appreciate you joining me today, and I hope this webinar has inspired you to create a healthy home environment for you and your family. Oh, no, just let's pull up the screen, or sorry, the PowerPoint one more time. Sorry. Oh, here we are. You guys see my screen?
Not yet. Oh, wait, there it comes. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Katie. These
Oh,
numbers.
Laura, we can't hear you. We can see the slide, but we can't hear you very well.
My. Let's see. Is that better, Kristen?
Yes, that's better. Thank you.
Okay, great. So thanks again, Katie. And we always at the end of the webinars like to remind our HealthNet members of programs that we have for you. So you'll find our wellness programs and other resources when you are logging into your HealthNet account. And don't forget the health risk assessment, which is called the Real Age Test. Make sure to take it and check out our other wellness programs online. Next slide. All right, so the Real Age Test, this is going to give you a snapshot of your health status in key areas such as nutrition, exercise, emotional health, and financial well-being. It's a great place to start if you want to try and identify what great healthy habits you're doing and those that may need a little bit of help. And those results will be personalized, and it also includes some recommendations as well. Next slide. Is our health coaching. We know that health habits can be a challenge, so don't do it alone. Health coaching is a great way to get support when you're trying to make those lifestyle improvements. Things like maybe managing stress, or we talked about today, some eating healthier, quitting smoking, and much more. Get support with your family, your friends, and a coach to help keep you motivated. Next slide. Craving to Quit. This is HealthNet's tobacco cessation program. And this program is designed to help users who are ready to quit to permanently break their addiction to tobacco. Eat Right Now. So this is our healthy nutrition program. This helps participants with healthy eating habits rather than dieting. So topics will include things like triggers, craving, healthy habits, and emotional eating as well. Unwinding by Sharecare. We know that life is stressful. So if managing stress is part of your plan to build in some healthy habits, you want to look for programs like this one that are going to focus on de-stressing and help you to stay in the moment. This particular program uses tools and videos. It has modules that's going to help guide you to build resilience and to decrease chronic stress. Please note it's open to both HealthNet and to non-HealthNet members as well. We offer discounts to our members, things like weight management. So we have discounts to Weight Watchers, chiropractic and acupuncture services as well. Maybe you need an extra pair of prescription sunglasses or computer glasses. So we give discounts to that, as well as hearing aids, including the screenings. And pretty popular is our fitness club discount. It's called Active and Fit. For $28 a month, you have access to all the gyms in the network. No contract. You can change gyms as often as you want to. And they also have on-demand programming as well. Our online health challenges. So every month, we've got new challenges on our platform. They vary in content, but mostly stress, steps, and sleep, and they are open to everyone. In August, for HealthNet members, we have a Green Day Challenge. This happens to be a 90-day challenge. So we hope you'll discover your happiest and healthiest you. All right, join us next month. We're doing Rise and Shine. This is a sleep health webinar where we're going to look into the critical importance of quality sleep. We'll explore why sleep matters and the repercussions of poor sleep. We'll also cover strategies to cultivate a sleep-friendly environment. We'll discover the significance of a healthy bedtime routine, help you navigate through those common sleep challenges. And so don't miss out on this insightful webinar aimed at enhancing your overall well-being through better sleep habits. We hope you will again join us next month for that. And that's it. Thank you so much for your time today. As a reminder, everyone who registered for this webinar will receive a link to the recording in just a few days. So feel free to exit the webinar at this time. Thank you so much.